Hey guys, I said I was going to do some sponsor only videos, and this is the first one. This is kind of a special video because I've been holding out for a while. I was going to do kind of an edited, put together video about this particular game that I'm pretty sure none of you have ever heard of. I would almost be willing to bet money that you've never heard of this game that I'm about to bring up. I'm working on a video right now that's going to be like a really edited, well put together version of it, but I'm going to give y'all a sneak peek at it and kind of tell you what I'm planning. This is a game called EMIT. My camera's backwards. Whoops. So this first game that I'm going to tell you all about is called EMIT, and it's a game in the English Dream series, which is a series meant for Japanese native speakers to learn how to speak English. And it's really cool. So the version of the game I'm going to show you today is the Super Famicom version. If you don't know what a Super Famicom is, this is a Super Famicom. It's the Japanese version of the Super Nintendo. Looks like this. I love the way the Super Famicom looks. I think it looks cooler than the Super Nintendo. I love the coloring that they put on all the branding for the Super Famicom. I think that's really cool. And the Japanese version is just a lot more colorful, a lot more fun. And I don't know, I love the Super Famicom for that reason. But anyway, this game that we're looking at the Super Famicom version, but there's also a bunch of other versions of this game. I can tell you, Windows and Mac versions of the game. There's a Sega Saturn version, a 3DO version, and a PlayStation version, all developed around the same time and ported between those systems. So the one that we're looking at is the first in that English Dream series, and it's volume 1 of 3, I think. And it's amazing. Just watch. I'll open it up here for you. There's a lot that comes packed in this box. First, you've got these CDs. And you know, the Super Famicom does not have a CD player built into it, so you're going to have one sitting nearby, and I'll explain here in a few minutes why that's important and what these CDs have to do with it. Next up, we've got some little manuals and warning stuff. This is the script for the game, and it actually has like vocabulary spelled out in it. You can see here that there's a bunch of vocabulary words, so you can check your pronunciation, or a Japanese speaker really could check their pronunciation of all of these words. There's a script of every line that takes place in the game right here. Hopefully there's no spoilers there. If there are, I'm sorry. I doubt you'll ever play this anyway because it's so obscure and weird. But really neat having a little book like that where you can kind of follow along with what the game is telling you and all that. This is the coolest part of this game. And that's this little peripheral. I'm going to have to open it up here. It's all wrapped in plastic. But this peripheral is called the Voice Coon. And the Voice Coon is an IR transmitter that plugs into your Super Famicom port. So you plug this into the second port on the Super Famicom, and you set it up like so on your TV stand or whatever. And you set this thing like this, and you point it across the room at your CD player that's sitting over here, and you put one of these CDs into the CD player, and then this little IR transmitter, the Voice Coon, sends signals, IR signals, to your CD player to change the tracks, rewind, fast forward, pause, stop, play, whatever. And that's how the game is able to play that English audio for you. The sound chip that's on the Super Nintendo is capable of playing some sounds like that, but you're not able to get really clear, high bitrate audio. So the workaround for that was packing in these CDs and letting people use a real CD player with a Voice Coon to skip and move the tracks. And then it kind of feels like you're just playing a game with a super high bitrate audio track. Lastly, we've got a manual for the game. The manual is actually really cool because it's also got these autographs of the people who designed the game on the back, and it's got a lot of really cool color artwork and everything. This copy of the game that I got is in fantastic shape. It almost seems like it was close to brand new, but a lot of stuff that you import from Japan is in great shape. They all took great care of their games over there. Here's what the game looks like. If you've never seen a Super Famicom cartridge, they look kind of like a Super Nintendo cartridge, but they're just a little bit differently shaped. And this is volume 1, and as I understand it, the story is basically that there's this girl walking through town and she runs into someone, like this old man, who asks her a question, and she finds out that there's a parallel dimension where time is running in the opposite direction of her dimension or something. And it sounds like a really neat story. I'm sure the translation isn't perfect. I've heard that there are some glaring omissions and inaccuracies as far as the Japanese to English translations go, which I kind of would suspect anyway. But I would love to play this one of these days. I'm working on the video right now, and I've just kind of started gathering footage and stuff, and it's really cool so far from what I've seen. So I can't wait to show y'all everything else about this game. But that's all I've got for you today. I just wanted to show you really quickly something cool from my collection that I think you've probably never seen before. I had never heard of this. I just happened to find it one day, and I immediately ordered volume 1, and I need to get the other 2 volumes. They're not too expensive. I think I paid about 30 bucks for this one, and I think volume 2 and volume 3 are also about 30 bucks. So maybe one day I'll have all 3. I don't know. I don't yet, but I would love to. If there's something else you guys want to see, just let me know. I would love to show you something else from my collection. I've got a lot of cool stuff back here and a lot of things I would love to showcase in a little bit greater detail at some point. So if you want to see something like that, just let me know in the comments. Thank you guys so much again for sponsoring. I really appreciate it, and I promise I'm going to try to make it as worthwhile as possible. Thanks, guys.